All right, ready?
Yeah, go ahead.
Hey, good evening, everyone. This is Robert and Jason with the world-renowned Mr. Texas Real Estate. This is the Texas Real Estate Mastermind Hour. All right. How you doing, Jason?
I'm burning appraisers right now at
my
the stake.
God. Oh, my God.
These idiots, listen to this. My God, I work harder for other people than I do my own myself at this point.
Yeah, well.
All right.
Not much longer.
There are no duplexes that have sold in the last year in the entire city that are 3-1s. So there's only 2 that have sold where there's 1 that's a 1-1. Do you know where that price point starts?
Yes, I do. I saw your
$280.
Nice.
And the appraiser said $220.
$220.
This is when you start sending offensive emails. Like, I'm not really sure you know how to do your job. Let me do this for you. Here you go.
Yeah, we're not going to mention the lender, but I always get a little, it's like, I understand, it's like, they don't want us using our appraiser because, we could have a relationship that pushes appraisal, right? Well, we're the same way on the other side. It's like, we don't want you using your appraisal. Oh, we're going to use a third party.
Okay.
Got it. Why does it take 5 days to review an appraisal?
So let me explain to the at-home audience here what's going on. A lender orders an appraisal.
Yes.
You go out, the appraiser goes
Typically
out.
through an appraisal management company, AMC.
AMC. So the AMC, this is all post-2008 consumer protection nonsense.
Yeah,
but
we're
anyway,
all falling apart.
world's all falling apart. We're going to try and stop fraud.
Yep.
So we're going to have all these random appraisers who, I'll give you a great example. I had a property down in Surfside.
Yeah.
The appraiser came out of Fort Worth.
Sure.
Now, for those of you who maybe don't know how big Texas is, that's 6 hours away.
Easy. Yeah.
Without traffic. So this guy doesn't know this market.
That's like
you may have said, oh, he needs to appraise a place in Alexandria, DC. Like it's this ridiculous.
Yeah, but he came out of Massachusetts to do the DC appraisal. Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense at all.
The LA appraiser came up to San Francisco, right?
Yeah, exactly. Makes no sense at all, right? Absolutely insane. So, in any case, we have an appraisal situation right now.
Yep.
Appraiser
Two of them.
Yep. Came back at $50,000 below market, about 20% below market.
Sure.
And so I just went and pulled
He came back 50,000 lower than the lowest comp we found.
Yes.
Right, because there's a higher comp at like 360.
It's 380.
380. We weren't asking for that.
So this is a duplex. It's a duplex that has 2 3-1s. It's pretty rare. So
it is, yeah.
I know that market real well, but I don't know the numbers like as well as I do in Houston.
Yeah.
But anyways, when I heard the appraisal, I'm like, BS.
Right.
I'm like, I'm calling BS right now.
Yeah.
So then I went in the MLS and I looked at it. I'm like, I pulled all of them for the entire city. There's nothing below 280,000. And you're telling me it's 220?
Right.
And we're going to essentially have a completely brand new property.
This is why it doesn't pass. This is why there's something rotten in Denmark.
There's completely something rotten.
That number that he appraised was darn near close to the purchase price in rehab.
Right.
It appraised exactly what they're putting into it.
So this is what Rob and I think is going on with certain lenders.
Yep.
We've had this happen multiple times now, where the folks in our mastermind are getting such stellar deals.
Yes.
The lender doesn't want to give them 100% financing,
That's
meaning
correct.
they bring nothing to closing.
Yes.
This property, if just quick numbers, I think it's probably worth close to $379. And if they're getting a 70% loan,
Sure.
that's $265. They would take. He's all in for what? $220.
He's all in at 220. Yeah.
He would take $40,000 cash at closing.
Right.
Like they're freaking. They're like, how do these guys?
So we can't.
buy them so
Right.
cheap?
So they don't want to do that, and then we know there's a problem because the appraisal came back on Monday, and they didn't release the number until Thursday.
Right. So you pay for the appraisal. You, the borrower, pays for the appraisal. But the appraiser doesn't share it with you.
Yeah, shares it with the lender.
They share it with the lender first.
Yes.
And the lender's like, well, it's been under review for a week.
What the lender does is has this third-party appraisal review method.
So here's what's going on.
Yeah, I know.
It's collusion like you wouldn't believe.
I don't,
That's exactly what it is.
we can say that as long as we don't say who the lender is, right?
Well, let's take them to court. Actually, you know what? We
acquisitions.
can't because we can take them to court.
Yeah, well.
I would love to take one of those guys to court and bust this thing wide open because it's happened so many times now. It's like
It is, and it is.
we ought to start suing appraisers, to be honest with you, because here's the deal. You've got a fiduciary duty. Actually, I need to call Al's who I need to call because they've got a duty to the lender and the borrower. But you can't arbitrarily make numbers up. Now, don't get me wrong. Appraising a property is part art, part science. Yeah. You got to give those guys a little leeway.
Sure.
But when it's becoming so egregious for the deals we're doing, we're like, where are you pulling these numbers from?
So my quick math on that one was it's like 2,100 square feet total. I said it's like $125 a square foot.
Which is all over that market, 125.
125 low is the floor.
Is the floor in the ghetto.
Yeah, and
like
the floor in
the worst areas of town are 125 a foot.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And this is not even close to the worst area of town.
Right. So I was like, and then when it came back, so I said it was like 260 to 270, right?
Something like
275, something like that. Came back at 220, which is exactly the money out of pocket.
Yeah, is what we're paying for it plus rehab.
Yeah. So did you read the whole appraisal? Because
I haven't seen a copy of it.
There is a clause in there that's saying I can't appraise it and I'm giving you this.
I'm sure
they do that sometimes.
They do that but I'm like, send me. I still haven't seen the appraisal.
Yeah.
Well, they chop the rents to pieces too.
That's another nut. Yeah.
I will tell you guys a story. I don't know if we got time for it, but I fought an appraisal so hard that the lender actually pushed back and said, "You will change this number because it makes no sense."
Right.
Then here's the funny thing: I got a subject to appraisal. I didn't see it because the buyer was the borrower, but it was probably double what they were paying for the property. I mean, it was crazy.
Yeah, right.
I told that story to our partner at lunch today, and I was like, he was like, because he told me, he goes, I don't know how some of these guys are coming up with these numbers, and I'm like, let me show you with this one.
Yep.
And I said, it's appraising, and I know appraisers have been super conservative since 2008, so the number's there.
Even now, I remember our COVID appraisal.
Yeah, we got COVID appraisals. We ought to sue each one of those guys for COVID appraisals. What does that mean?
Exactly right.
What does that mean?
We don't have enough time.
I know. Yeah. How many millions of dollars?
Or we could hire an attorney, right? We're getting an accountant next, right? So the accountant's coming in to take care of all this stuff.
Well, we will hire in-house
attorney,
counsel.
Let him go. Yeah.
We will hire in-house counsel to just sue these guys.
Yeah. The dream team, right? Like Elon put together.
Here's what, like, I was explaining this to it's the dream team. No, I watched that Chris Rock special. You've got to watch it. It is excellent. I watched it like the second night it was out. But anyway.
I got to tell you, I never found him funny. I didn't think he was all
He's
funny.
No Dave Chappelle.
Right, he's not
Chappelle's
Chappelle.
Ridiculous, right? He's angry.
Now
he's always angry.
Yeah.
He's real angry now. Yeah. The younger Chris Rock was a lot more fun than the older one. It's more like social commentary. Some of it's kind of funny, but it's like a lot of like angry stuff, right? But it was good given the social. There is I was listening to, who was it? It was Steven Crowder and a couple other guys. I was watching the whole Daily Wire thing.
Oh, that was
He was
fun.
on Patrick Bet-Davis's show, and really interesting to hear the whole Daily Wire stuff and his side of the story. But anyway, they're all talking about woke, and they said, comedy kind of leads the rest of the country by 2 years. Yeah. So this woke stuff's kind of dead. But anyway, I guess we get back from break. I can talk.
Hang tight, guys. We're going to come back from break. Make sure you check out our website, mrtxre.com, mrtxre.com. We're going to talk about some exciting stuff we have coming up here for the rest of the month. All right, hang tight. We'll be back. You want to come back?
Welcome back. Robert Orfino, Jason Bible, Texas Real Estate Mastermind. All right, here's what I tell my son. This goes right back to appraisals and suing folks that do this nonsense. Because you also serve the lender, which maybe they don't want to do business with it, but would make them so much money, I'm sure they would.
Yep.
So here's what you do. In soccer, I mean, you can beat some guys up, but you can't really, beat them up, right?
Yeah.
But what you can do is make them hurt. So this is what I tell my son. When you're chasing the ball into the goal, you do not stop until that goalie picks up the ball. You run at him like you're going to murder him.
Yeah.
Because here's what's going to happen. Don't get me wrong, they're looking at the ball, and then they're going to look up at you. And they're going to see your eyes are on their eyes, and you're not looking at the ball. You're coming after them.
Right.
And at some point in that game, you will have played that team enough where that guy's going to flinch.
Yeah.
And that flinch is he's not going to stop the ball. It's going to deflect. Then you're going to have a really great scoring opportunity.
Right.
So with a lot of this stuff, it's like we could screw with other people. We can't screw with these guys because they're just going to keep coming after us.
Yeah.
You're not going to screw with us on appraisals.
Right.
Because we know our numbers. Here's our number. We're okay, fine. We'll just file a petition. Like this isn't. I understand there's 5-10% here, but this is entering gross negligence.
And the reason is because we do so many deals.
Right.
So we're seeing it on absolute wholesale basis.
Yeah,
The guy who does like 1 or 2 a year, he'll complain about it and come up with more money, and that's what they're expecting.
Right.
They're not recognizing that. Hey, when we're doing 15 transactions a month.
Right. So random guy that does 5 or 6 houses a month or a year, you ain't gonna see it.
Right.
Guys that are doing a lot of volume like us and our mastermind, we see it a lot.
Yep.
And we see it with certain lenders.
Right.
So I'm like, I know what you're doing.
Yep.
I know exactly what you're doing. So then we just get to the point where like we just can't work with you.
Right. But that's not. Yes. And
Which is not a good solution either way.
I know. But that's what you're going to rotate these guys in and out. Every year or every other year.
Well,
right?
that's true.
It happens anyway. Someone gets over there. But on the other side of it, when they were really aggressive, they weren't doing this game, right?
I don't even know if they were all that aggressive.
But pre-COVID was probably the heyday for us.
Yeah, but we were just getting ramped up, right?
I know, but that was like when it comes to like the lending market, that was the best lending market we've seen, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. The HAR report came out, and I was playing with a little bit.
Oh, I didn't see it.
Yeah, playing with a little bit, and median price has gone down.
Ooh.
2%, so everybody chill out.
But it peaked at like 440 last year.
Yeah, it's like 438.
Yeah. Okay.
It's whatever.
Yeah, got it.
So here's the funny thing. I guess the chief economist for HAR listens to the show.
Oh, nice.
Probably not, because it's probably not healthy for him. But they have started comparing real estate markets to 2019. Because I said 2020, 21, and 22.
Phenomenal, yeah.
So he said, look, guys, we had a 2% drawdown. We're up 40% since 2019.
Right, it means nothing.
It really means nothing.
Yep.
And they're really taking on the narrative of, hey, we're getting back to somewhat normal market. I would argue that's going to change when rates start to adjust a little bit. But the jobs report today was an absolute banger. So 300,000 jobs. I'm like, I don't know what.
Biden economy.
Well,
Amazing.
yeah.
This guy's amazing.
So I was listening to Pat's show today, and they actually played the clip of Powell being interviewed by, I don't know if this guy's in the Senate. It's got to be in the Senate. He's the rep out of Louisiana, which is great because he's got that Southern football coach accent. He's either a pastor or a football coach. It's really the only place you can get away with that kind of accent. And
That's a good one.
this guy was on top of his numbers.
He could be both.
He could be both. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's probably both.
Yeah.
Probably both. That's kind of how it works in Louisiana. So probably teaches history at the high school as football coach and then assistant pastor, right? So he says, he starts out, I love it. I love it when these Southern guys do it because someone's about to get hammered. I'm just, we're just some simple folks down here in Louisiana, now, Chairman Powell, maybe you can explain to me and the rest of us on this.
Oh, I love that
committee
senator
here.
I
Yeah,
love
he's
that.
great.
He's so good.
He's so great.
Oh,
so
what is his name?
I can't remember. But
Kennedy. Yeah.
He's got all these notes, right? And he basically says, look, here's the deal. Based off historic precedents, you guys are really pushing for a job loss recession. He goes, well, I wouldn't call it that. There's a lot of different markers. And he goes, look, I know you don't want to commit to anything.
Yeah.
I get it.
You don't want to say it, but I get it. Yeah.
But he finally gets to the point where he says, in order to get us down to a 2.2 rate of inflation, which is what you guys picked as a goal. We didn't pick that. Y'all, Chairman Powell, you picked it? He goes, yeah, we picked it. We probably have to have a job loss recession of an unemployment rate around 10%. And he said, you're probably right on those numbers. And I was like, ho! I just sat there and nobody said anything on the committee. And I was like, do you know what 10% unemployment looks like?
Not good.
I was like, whoa. If that's what you want, dude, wow. Biden ain't getting reelected.
It was always a second term, right? So that's The problem, right? So the problem is
You
that
shouldn't leave these Trump appointees in office.
despite the meddling with the economy, the marketplace is doing better than anyone expects or wants.
Well, that's actually not true. What the problem is we're just now to where we were pre-COVID. We're still not. If you listen to Logan Matamashi stuff, he said, look, if we didn't shut down for COVID, the numbers would be even higher, but we also wouldn't have the supply chain issues. So a lot of this is just getting back to pre-COVID.
Right. But that's exactly what I'm saying. I'm not saying pre-COVID. I'm saying what they're expecting now. They don't want job growth, and we keep seeing job growth.
I agree with that, yeah.
And so the marketplace is hiring people because the marketplace has money to make.
Right, but here's the problem from a basic economic standpoint that most people don't understand. That's not inflationary.
No, I totally get it.
Musk did this great dissertation on economics, and I listened to it earlier, where he basically says, look, guys, because a business makes money, it's not inflationary. I'm like, he's absolutely right. Inflationary is government spending.
Right. Or the cost of money, yeah.
And an expansion of the monetary supply. That's what causes, well, actually, those are inflationary. That doesn't mean prices are affected. Because just because prices increase, that's not necessarily a cause and effect of inflation. So it's a little bit more complicated than that. But at the end of the day, it's like, hey, we're not losing. My argument is...
I guess my point is I'm taking a laissez-faire attitude.
Yeah.
Hey, the markets, people are working.
Right, yes. Yeah, so,
there are jobs. There's money flowing. Why are we tinkering?
Yeah, why tinker with it?
It will... And all they're ever going to do is just accelerate the outcome that they want.
Right.
Right? So what are we talking about? A difference of 2 years, 3 years?
My argument is, I have made this argument. It drives people nuts. The rates don't matter. Rates don't matter if it's 0 or if it's 20. Here's what matters, the rate of change. This rate of change is what causes all the problems in the marketplace. That's why when we're looking at commercial real estate and we're looking at what's going on in the commercial real estate market, the CMBS market's imploding because they don't know where rates are going. Just keep it level. Whatever you think that...
Right.
I think people...
But again, even with Powell's best effort, there are people still buying houses.
Right.
And there are office buildings that are actually being sold.
That's right.
Right? But they don't want that because clearly they don't. They've raised interest rates, and so the cost of money is higher. So it's more difficult to make it profitable. But the marketplace is going to allow our rental properties to be profitable.
Oh, absolutely.
Even though because of what's going on right here with the Fed is we're paying a 9% interest rate. Okay, well, we'll just adjust it and make sure it works at 9%. And guess what? It works.
Yeah. Or here's the scary part. If it doesn't, then we don't put that we don't buy that property. Right. So here's the we
do get it. People rent it. We make money. We hire more people. That's what I'm saying. Is like, again, from a laissez-faire point of view. Hey, stop messing with it.
Oh, I agree. 100%.
Stop monkeying with it.
I think you need if you really dig into the numbers, we have to be somewhere between 5.3 and 7%.
Hang tight, guys. We'll be back. Yeah, rolls in.
Robert Orfino, Jason Bible, Texas Real Estate Mastermind. We're putting everybody to sleep with this interest rate.
Well, it's not. It's people's lives, right?
Yeah.
They've set an expectation for inflation that I believe is too low.
Oh, it doesn't make. You will never get back to 2%.
They're trying. They're trying to get back to. Because everyone was buying houses, and I get it all that, right? But man, we did just fine in the 90s at 6%.
Right.
Just fine. We had massive economic growth.
I don't
with Bush and Clinton, right?
Go to the Chapwood Index. Everyone needs to go to the Chapwood. It's CHAPWOOD, Chapwood Index. Looking it up by your city. Mm-hmm. Houston's average rate of inflation since 2010 is like 10% a year. So I'm like, you can't, this is the argument I've made since this whole thing started. You can't fight it.
Exactly.
Because people are making more money. There's less goods to buy. It's that simple.
Unfortunately, it is politics because it's a number.
Well, that's true. Yeah.
Right? It's like, even if Biden does everything and we hang out with inflation at 4.5%, that's a sword of Damocles hanging over his head, right?
Right.
It's a dagger hanging right there.
Right.
Your economy inflation has gone up, blah blah blah. So now they're again, we all know that presidents have very little impact on the economy, right?
Right.
It's small businesses.
It is, yeah.
That's what it is.
Small business are the only ones that move the needle.
Absolutely, right? So, but we get to play in these politics on either side of the aisle. I don't care. It's not an anti-Biden thing. This is politics getting in the way of our economy.
Yes.
And that's a huge problem.
Oh, it's an enormous problem.
So for me, I don't hire another 600,000 people.
Yeah.
It's good for them.
Yeah. Here's the other way I look at it. You're either going to have 600,000 people working or on the dole.
What are we talking
So
about
I'm
here?
like, so here's the deal. You can have them on the government dole, which is a tax expense,
yes.
or you can have them working for a private company, which produces more value than what they're paid. It seems real simple math to me.
It sure is. And on the other side of it, it's, hey, what are we really protecting here? The cost of a television?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't
Because
that's
they're using the CPI, right?
Right.
So they're not using housing. They're not looking at medical expenses.
No.
They're not looking at education. We're talking about TVs and sneakers.
Yeah, it's the core CPI data, and when you look at owner's equivalent rent, that's not the price of housing. It's this weird way that they calculate living expenses.
Yeah, it's the 60s. It's nonsense. And so
Here's all I know: people are paying $5,000 to $10,000 over market for a Forerunner. So I'm like, when does that stop? It's been going on for 4 years now. Like, I know you smug Tesla owners don't have to buy gas.
No,
but do any of you really shop for the cheapest gallon of gas out there?
Oh.
I mean, are you really looking at... Now, I will tell you this. We have been doing this little experiment over at my place. We are looking for the best margarita per dollar.
That's going to be in your kitchen.
It is. It is definitely a kitchen. Well, but we're going out to all these different places, right? So the joke is like, we're looking at this one versus this one. At the end of the day, it's not because it's an expense issue. It's like, what is the biggest bang for the buck, right? Yeah. So I know it sounds stupid, but does anybody really shop for anything anymore? Maybe at a certain...
On reviews.
On reviews.
Really
Oh,
interesting. Yeah. We're going to come back from the break. Oh, we're good on time? All right. So now we're going to actually get into our topic, right? Because it's the language of the poor.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Right? If you are shopping for the cheapest gas...
Yeah.
You have a poor mindset.
Yeah, I got too many things to go.
Too many things to do, and that's one of those really, really big things.
You know what I'm shopping for? Which gas station is closest to the road in which I'm on when I need gas?
Yeah,
because I don't have time to go to the other side of the freeway because it's a penny cheaper.
Right.
Like
I'm not shopping superchargers. I just want to know it's on the way.
Yeah, it's on the way. Is it this one?
Go to Buc-ee's or I go to HEB. There it is. Right. So,
is there a price? I guess there is a price difference, huh?
The price is based on time of day.
Oh, really? So it's load and like traditional electric.
Well, they also don't want a whole bunch of people waiting at the same time every day. So
gotcha.
they
Okay.
But no one's looking at that.
No one cares.
Yeah,
it's not Elon's not
30% the cost of gasoline.
Elon's not out there changing the sign.
Yeah, every minute.
Yeah, he's taking the little plastic numbers down.
Right on your dashboard. It pops up.
Oh, is it?
Hey, this is 24 cents a kilowatt.
So that's funny. Okay.
Or I could wait an hour and it goes down to 21. Or I could come back at night and it's down to like 16.
But what's it at home? What do you at home? Probably like 10?
It's 7.
7 at home? Okay.
Yeah. At night.
So you're like, I'll just wait till home, plug it in.
Yeah, that's what I do. And I don't even plug it in every night. Anyway. Despite everyone's best effort and the politicizing of the economy, we're still buying properties, fixing them up, putting tenants in, getting a refi, even though, that refi I just signed here was at 7.1%.
Really?
Yeah, good,
That's
right?
Not bad.
Well, the one I signed tomorrow is at 9. They both work.
Oh, I just got a text. The lender just blacklisted the appraiser.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Can I see that, really?
Yes, she just texted me.
Yeah, keep talking.
Okay, so that's our mortgage gal upstairs, and she's like, just blacklisted the appraiser. I'm like, ooh. So maybe it wasn't the lender playing games.
Maybe. Oh,
interesting.
Boy. Now we're gonna have to do 3 more segments and delete those.
No, because the lender knows.
What segment are we in?
We're in 3. Aren't
3.
we?
I'm losing track here. No, we know it. Maybe that was why. Maybe that was why it took 5 days. They didn't believe it was that low, right?
Yeah, and the lender's like, this is ridiculous.
Well, that's good. That appraiser's out.
Or maybe one of our loan folks called up there and said, guys, this is ridiculous. We got 15 more of these coming.
Well, I think they just showed them the proof.
Yeah. Oh, and they were like, what?
What? How could this be? The lowest duplex is 269, right?
Yeah.
What are we talking about? And this is a good-looking building.
It's going to be a gorgeous building when we get done with
It's
it.
going to be beautiful. Anyway, despite all the outside
more important
forces,
part.
just keep buying houses.
That's true. Here's the more important part. The person we just saved that deal for, our money should be no good around them during happy hour.
Oh, yes. No. It's not how it works.
Oh, come on.
We only hear about the problems. We never get a thank you.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah,
That's
even though
true.
you sent that comp for down at the beach
Oh, yeah.
at 400,000.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm waiting for the text. I'm waiting for her to say thanks.
Thanks, man.
Thanks.
I never got
I bought it at 230. Thanks.
Yeah.
No, it's okay.
Oh, that's right. It was about 400,000. Yeah, he's made 170 grand.
At least
in what,
150, right?
150 G's in like 2 years.
Yeah. Take a little thank you.
Hey, I think you guys steered me right here. Good. Buy this one.
Buy this
Don't ask any questions.
Oh boy, it comes with the territory, right?
God, I never thought it would be so hard to make other people wealthy. Like I'll tell you, out of all this, I think between giving birth, getting my sons through Eagle Scout, that seems to that seemed like that last, like the Eagle Scout project, those last couple of merit badges, like and then making people wealthy. They just want to sit there and argue with. I'm like, look, man, you can buy this, and I'm going to buy it, and then you're going to watch, and they still don't get it, and it's like, okay, it's like newly single guys at the bar. I always get the recently divorced guys at the bar, and it's like, just go talk to her. Well, I don't know. She's 100 pounds. What is she going to do? She's going to put her hands on you? You think she's going to like body slam you? She keeps looking over here. Why don't you just go? I don't know, man. I'm like, I'll go do it. And then they get all angry, and I'm like, it's that simple, guys.
No, they expect you to do is go over there and talk to them, and then hook them up with the. Oh, did you get her number for me? I'm not going there for you.
Yeah, because that's exactly what a girl wants. Like this
My
guy to
buddy
walk
there,
over.
He's too afraid to talk to you.
He's too afraid to talk to you at 100 pounds. And she's like, I don't want to. Let's say we leave this bar here and we end up in a street fight. This guy's too scared to talk to me. Is he too scared to take this guy, take a punch from this guy? It's like, come on.
All right,
Anyway,
hang tight,
it's
guys.
the same stuff.
We're going to be back. Make sure you go to our website, mrtxre.com, mrtxre.com. Got a 3-day coming up, 2 weeks. Got a whole bunch of stuff going on. Make sure you go check it out. Yeah. All right, let's get to the language of the poor.
Welcome back. Jason Bible, Robert Orfino, world's worst real estate show.
Worst real estate show ever.
Ever.
Period.
Maybe that's what we rename it to, and people will just they'll go, can this really be that bad? And they go, ooh.
Yeah.
That's kind of like hey, smell this, it stinks. It's like,
Oh my God, this smells horrible. Here,
take. No, don't put that in my face. No, really ought to know. Get that away from me. It's awful. So, language of the poor.
Yeah. Let's say this kindly. That's not a good way. We have one of our business partners made a great observation. I think we've said it before. Mm-hmm. He said most middle class are just poor people with good jobs.
Yeah.
And he wasn't talking about them being, dumb, because they're not. They're
not
educated.
Very smart.
He's just saying, he's talking about their mindset.
You're just, I know this is insanely controversial, but there's a guy, I've been in his group since 2019. Actually, before he even got famous, I was in this guy's group.
Is that the He-Man Women Haters Club?
Yeah, it's one of those.
Got it, yeah.
And one of the things he said in there is he's like, look, if you got to be told where to go and what to do and when you can go on vacation, you're just a slave like anybody else is. And I was like, what? Right. And then you're sitting there listening to it, and he goes, they gave the slaves food and free housing. What do you think this is any different because you got a W-2 and you pay taxes? And I was like, oh, he's got a point there.
Yeah, golden chains, right? Talk about it all the time.
You guys, most of y'all,
shackles, yep.
Most of y'all listening to this show live in a gilded cage.
Yes.
And you're so it's fascinating. I want freedom, I want this, I want that, but you're so worried over this $20,000 that you have to put into this real estate deal. Right. And what you don't realize is that's what's keeping you down. It's keeping you shackled to the nonsense life that you live. It's like, I don't know what else to tell you, man, other than you got to take the step. Like,
yeah. So we're signing up for more events, and we're going to sponsor a couple events around town. See what happens this summer.
Yeah.
I don't want to go there.
I'm not going. No, we'll
Yeah,
get our
it's
sales guy
so
to go.
tough hearing the conversation.
I'm just no. We'll send some of our team over there, and I want to host a new event here in the next couple of months. I sent Rebecca a message inquiring about some pricing and stuff, but yeah, I mean, and I like. Let me put it this way: there's like 5 people at all these events I go to. I like to hang out with. That's about it. And then it's all. This is
and
what
they're
happens.
the 5 that are at our volume, or a little bit above, or a little bit below, right?
It's guys and gals we see them every 6 months, right? We're like, hey man, what's going on? Oh, we need to get together, and we're like too busy to get together.
We're all busy, yeah.
But it every single one of these events, it happens at 8:36 p.m. Every single event, 8:36 p.m. If there's free drinks, then this conversation starts. Jason, I need to talk to you. I'm like, okay, I'm standing right here. And usually there's like a circle of people, right? We're all sitting here talking. We're usually right by at the corner of the bar. And I need to talk to you. I'm like, oh, okay, what do you need to talk about? No, I need to talk to you privately. I'm like, do you have a rash I need to look at? I mean, I'm not a doctor. Like, I don't.
Yep.
Well, I got this idea. I'm going to do this land trust deed, owner to sub
So
to
there's timber on it,
finance.
so I'm gonna harvest the timber first. Then I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna develop the land. Like,
And then I just look at him like, and then
somebody's done that before.
I'm sure. And then I say,
Yeah.
hey, why did you take me away from the whole group? Well, I don't want anybody to know to this business plan. And I
don't
said,
want you to know that there's trees in Texas.
yeah. And I'm like, you do realize that I talk to a guy like you at every single event for the last 10 years. Your business plan is out there.
I talk to the lumber, wood, tree guy once a week.
My favorite's the oil and gas guy. I'm like, why would you
Oh,
get
oil
into
and gas,
an industry that is depreciating rapidly? But hey, that's
That's a better sales guy than we have.
way better sales.
That's-
They got better.
they
They got better
sales-
suits at the front of the room.
Better suits, better salespeople. Yep. You know, and one of the things we'll do is I guess I used to be able to go incognito to all these events.
Oh, that's right. Because now
Nobody knew me, right?
Yeah, now everybody knows you.
Well, I don't know if everyone knows me. So, but I will sit there to the side and people strike up a conversation. What do you do? I was like, I'm just beginning, trying to figure this out.
You know that worked the first 2 or 3 years. I used to
2
watch,
years, like, hell, well,
I used to watch guys do that. He's like, "Oh, Jason, you met this guy? He's brand new." I'm like, "Oh, really? Wow, welcome to real estate."
tell me who I should be working with. I'm curious.
Oh, that's right,
Who
yeah.
should I be working with in town, right?
Yeah.
Who good hard money lenders, right? Who are the good contractors? Who this, that, and just getting their input. And then after it's the standard sort of table pitch,
Yeah.
well, have you used them?
Ooh.
No, I haven't. I'm getting ready to. I got my paperwork together. I'm like, okay, yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Get my paper together.
That's right. Yeah.
So I'm
We're
always
all
like,
getting our paper together.
I just want to know, like, who do you recommend? So I just want to figure out, like who's doing the best marketing, who's doing the best branding in town. That was every single event I went to. I went from a marketing and branding perspective.
That's interesting.
I looked at everything, like who's doing really well at this table, who knows how to work a table,
Yeah.
right? Renter's Warehouse knows how to work a table.
Yeah.
Other property managers, nope.
Renter's Warehouse probably does them and what's the girl's name? Becky over at they own the data service. They probably are the best people who work a conference.
The way they run that table, the way they position themselves, absolutely. Yep, that's Steve Liang's group, right?
Yeah, Steve Liang. Yeah, his.
Yep.
I can't remember.
I
the name
watched
of his-
them. I'm like, that right there is the professional setup.
That's how you work.
That's
the
a
table.
trade show setup.
Yeah.
Everyone else is just can't wait to get out of here.
Yeah.
50% of the vendors at those tables are counting the minutes. Eddie's going on stage at 7. I'm out of here at 7:15. Right?
Yeah.
You can watch them. I just watched them all, and I'm like, okay, well, I bet that guy's not in business in a year.
Oh, yeah. And they're not there anymore.
They're not there
Yeah.
anymore, right? Yeah.
Don't know how to work a table.
Understand it. So I always looked at it from marketing and sort of branding perspective, and then just talking to people. What do you do? And then a guy like Sean will come over and just blow the whole ruse.
Oh yeah.
He's like, "What are you doing here? You're
What
too
are
big
you?
for
You're not
this
supposed to be
sort of-"
doing anything here. And they're like, "Who's this guy?" He's like, he owns like 500 doors, a bunch of commercial stuff. And everybody starts looking around, going, "Oh." And you're like, "Thanks, Sean."
Thanks, Sean. Yeah, thanks for blowing it. But you'll just get to. I mean, that's the Elon Musk interview question, right? Tell me the 3 biggest challenges in your life and how you solve them. And he says by the second level, by the second round of questions, he can tell if they're lying or not.
Oh, interesting.
And so it's kind of the same thing with us. It's like, oh yeah, I got this going on. I got this going on. I'm in the stock market. I'm doing some trading. Really, how's that going? It's going really good. Excellent. What's your capital gains tax look like this year?
I think it's crickets.
I'm behind on filing. You're behind on filing. Yikes! That's not good. You better get your stuff in. Yeah.
Wow.
So you just start hitting them up, and like the developer guy, or hey, we had a flipper in here. How many? You doing a lot of flips? Yeah. It's like, oh, that's nice. How many you wish you kept?
Ooh.
Guy's like, yeah, a lot of them. Like, yeah.
That's how you know he flips a lot, and he's like tuned in. He goes, I should have kept every single one.
Yeah, you
I'm
should have
like,
kept every one.
Now I know why you're here.
So guess what? Your problem isn't figuring out how to make more cash for a flip. Your problem is you don't have a cheap money source.
Yeah. You don't know how to keep them.
I went right to it. It's like every single person in real estate has the same problem. Mm-hmm. Weighted average cost of capital.
That's right.
That is our only problem. Mm-hmm. Everything else can be solved, right?
Yeah.
That one is a challenge you've got to figure out.
Mm-hmm.
But, again, we want to talk about all the whiz-bang and all this stuff and software program and all this stuff.
Hey, I got a new property portfolio builders tool. That'll solve all your problems.
Solve all your problems, except you're still not going to have the money to do the deal.
Yeah. Or you're just not going to be brave enough to close the deal.
So when people talk to me about, I'm in real estate, Rob, I'm in real estate like you, I'm like, great. What's your capital costing you? I'm very curious these days. How are you possibly buying apartment buildings? What's your cost of capital? And then if they don't have a good number or it's not real, right? People in the last 90 days have told us to go to local banks. We got on the line with a broker, and he said there ain't one local bank in town lending.
Yeah,
on
it was
apartments.
Pretty funny. Yeah, this broker's like, "Hey, talk to my guy. I'll hook you all up." And we get on, and so this guy's like, "Write a contract. Let's get it to closing. Talk to this guy because it needs a rehab, all this other stuff." So we talked to his loan guy. He's like, "Nah, man, there ain't anybody."
Nobody's lending. There's like one credit union. They're at like 55% LTV.
Which of course anybody would lend at that, right?
Oh, like no, I got it.
And they were like, "Well, wait a second. Well, how are we going to get out of this deal?"
So when you start actually getting into and it gets beyond the guru speak, that's when you start dealing with professionals.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks for joining us tonight. We appreciate you guys. Hang tight. I got a short message, and we'll be back tomorrow night.